Okay, so today we're diving into something really fascinating that's been happening with Tesla.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you send over a news report
Hmm.
that kind of makes you wonder, are people starting to think about Tesla differently?
Yeah.
And is it possibly because Elon Musk is getting so involved in politics, like with Trump and stuff?
Right.
And are those two things actually affecting how many cars they're selling?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we're going to break down today, looking at the report, trying to understand what's really going on.
Absolutely.
And we want to look at this from all sides without, you know, taking any sides ourselves.
Right.
Just present what's out there.
Exactly. So the source you gave me was a transcript from ABC News In Depth on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
It's titled, Are Customers Abandoning Tesla Because of Elon Musk and Trump? 7.30.
Okay.
And the cool thing is it's got like firsthand stories from Australia.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And they show some pretty big sales numbers from different places.
Okay.
They get opinions from the Electric Vehicle Council of Australia, and even Trump himself reacts.
Wow. So there's a lot to unpack here.
Yeah, we've got a lot to look at.
So let's get right to it. The big question is Elon Musk saying he supports Trump and endorsing him. Is that really hurting Tesla?
Right. Is it actually affecting their brand, how people see them?
Exactly. And even more, are people not buying Teslas because of it?
Yeah, that's the heart of what the report's looking at.
Mhm.
And they do point to some things that suggest that might be happening.
Like what?
Well, like Musk endorsing Trump and giving a ton of money to his campaigns.
How much are we talking?
Almost $280 million last year,
Wow.
and maybe another $100 million on top of that.
That's a serious commitment.
It is. And then there's his new job running the Doge department. It's all
Mhm.
about cutting government spending.
Doge department. That's a new one.
Yeah, and the report points out that's kind of weird for a big business leader like him to be doing.
I can see that it's not exactly a typical CEO move.
Right, and the report doesn't start there.
What else is there?
Well, it brings up some other things Musk has done that have been controversial,
Okay, like what?
like gestures that some people think are Nazi salutes.
Oh, wow.
And then there's him firing government workers.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like all this has caused some backlash, like people vandalizing Tesla showrooms all over the world.
So it sounds like people are getting pretty upset.
Yeah, it's creating a lot of negative feelings towards the brand, and it seems to be connected to Musk himself.
Right. They're kind of seeing them as the same thing.
Exactly. And the report shares this really interesting story about a guy named Tristan Brunston from Melbourne.
Okay.
He used to be a huge Tesla fan. He says he was a total fanboy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He owned 2 Teslas and he had invested in the company.
So a true believer.
Totally. But he says when Musk got into politics, that was it for him. He
What?
actually sold all his Tesla stock and both his cars.
Wow. Because of Musk's political views.
Yep. He didn't want to be associated with Tesla anymore.
That's a pretty strong statement.
Yeah, he called it a worrying turning point and said he needed to distance himself.
So it really got to him.
It did. And it makes you wonder how many other people who used to love Tesla are feeling the same way.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, is this the tip of the iceberg?
Maybe.
And then the report throws in some data that's kind of hard to ignore.
Oh, yeah, the sales figures.
Yeah, they say Tesla sales dropped big time last month.
In some places.
Yeah.
Like where?
Well, in Scandinavia, it was like 40% down, and in Germany, it was a whopping 76% drop.
76%. That's a lot.
It is, and even closer to home for this report in Australia, they were down 72% compared to last year.
Oof, those are some serious numbers.
They are, and on top of that, their stock price has taken a hit too.
Oh, really? How bad?
The report says it's dropped 50% since like mid-December,
Wow.
and Musk's personal fortune has gone down by $120 billion in that same time.
Now, obviously, lots of things can affect stock prices.
Oh, sure.
But seeing such a big drop when he's been so politically active and controversial,
Right.
it does make you wonder if they're connected. Yeah, and these concerning sales figures naturally lead us to consider the financial health of the company. And the report touches on these significant movements in Tesla's stock price.
And the report even quotes someone saying, it's hard to see him politically recovering from the heavy partisanship and loyalty that he has pledged for Donald Trump.
Yeah.
So they're basically saying this whole Trump thing could hurt Musk's image for good.
And by association, Tesla's image, too.
Exactly.
Okay.
But hold on, we got to be fair here. The report does mention other reasons why Tesla sales might be down.
Right, especially in Australia.
Yeah, they bring up the Electric Vehicle Council of Australia and what they have to say.
Yeah, they're saying it's not just about Musk. There are bigger things happening in the car market.
Like what?
Well, they point out that overall new car sales are down in Australia.
Okay.
But sales of electric vehicles are actually still going up.
Oh, so people still want EVs.
Yeah, but maybe they're not all choosing Tesla anymore.
Right. Maybe other brands are getting more popular.
That's what it looks like. And the report also talks about how sales of plug-in hybrids have shot up.
Plug-in hybrids, those are the ones that have both a gas engine and an electric motor, right?
Right. You can plug them in to charge, but they also have gas as a backup.
Okay, and how much of those sales increased?
A lot. They now make up 50% of all EV sales in Australia.
Wow. So people seem to like having both options.
It seems that way, and that could be why some people aren't choosing Tesla anymore.
Yeah, maybe they want that flexibility.
Exactly. And on top of that, there are just way more EV models to choose from now in Australia.
Really?
Yeah, they've got SUVs, utes, which are big. They're hatchbacks, sedans.
Wow, so something for everyone.
Pretty much. And the prices are better too. Some are even under $30,000 to $40,000.
So more competition for Tesla.
Definitely the electric car market is getting crowded.
And Tesla's not the only game in town anymore.
Nope. So to say that their sales are down just because of Musk and politics might be too simple.
Right, there's probably a lot more to it.
Exactly.
But then the report goes on to give some arguments in favor of Tesla.
Yeah.
They mention how Trump has been publicly supporting Tesla.
Yeah, like big time.
What did he do?
He basically turned the White House lawn into a Tesla showroom.
Wow.
And he said anyone vandalizing Teslas is committing domestic terrorism.
Okay, so he's making very clear he's on Tesla's side.
Totally.
But then the report points out something kind of contradictory.
What's that?
On the same day Trump was doing all that pro-Tesla stuff, Tesla wrote a letter to the U.S. Trade Representative warning that Trump's tariffs could actually hurt their business if other countries retaliate.
So they're kind of agreeing with him in public, but disagreeing with him in private?
Right. It's like they need his support,
Yeah.
but they also don't want his policies to hurt them.
Yeah. It's a tricky situation.
And then we hear from this guy, Nathan Merritt, who drives a Tesla for ride sharing.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not worried about all this controversy at all.
He's pretty chill about it.
Yeah. He thinks Tesla sales will bounce back.
Hmm.
He even says he'd still buy a Tesla in 2025.
He's sticking with them.
Yeah. And he makes a good point that Teslas are mostly made in America.
Right. Which appeals to some people.
And he says his passengers are always giving him positive feedback. They love the car's features and how cheap it is to run.
Right. They're focused on the car itself, not the drama surrounding Musk.
Exactly.
And it's worth remembering there are already a ton of Teslas on the road in Australia.
How many are we talking?
Over 125,000.
Wow, that's a lot of happy customers.
Yeah, so there's a big base of people who already love their Teslas.
But the report does say some Tesla owners are thinking about switching brands next time they buy a car
Yeah.
because they're having trouble separating the car from Elon Musk and all his opinions.
It's hard to ignore when the CEO is so outspoken.
But here's the thing. A lot of them are hesitant to sell their Teslas right now
Why is that?
because they're worth so much used.
Oh, so they don't want to lose money.
Exactly. So even if they're not thrilled with Musk, they're kind of stuck for now.
So it's a mix of brand loyalty and financial practicality.
Exactly.
It's complicated.
It is. So after all this, what can we say?
Well, this deep dive shows that the situation with Tesla is super complex. There's definitely evidence that Musk's political stuff is turning some people off.
Like Tristan.
Right. And that could be hurting sales in some places, like we saw with those numbers.
But at the same time, it's clear that the whole electric car market is changing too.
Yeah.
There's more competition, more types of EVs to choose from, and prices are getting better. So it's probably a combination of all these things that's affecting Tesla, not just Musk.
Exactly. It's never just one thing.
This whole situation really makes you think,
What do you mean?
well, can a company that's so closely tied to one person,
Yeah.
especially someone as opinionated as Elon Musk,
Right.
can they really avoid getting caught up in political stuff without it affecting their business?
That's a good question. And how much does brand loyalty matter when customers have strong political views?
Yeah. Will people stick with a brand they like, even if they don't like what the CEO is doing?
And as electric cars become more and more common, how will all these companies balance making cool new tech
Yeah.
with what customers actually care about and are willing to buy?
It's a lot to think about. And this report shows us that why people buy things is never simple.
Right.
It's a mix of lots of different factors,
Yeah.
some practical, some emotional, some maybe even political.
It's definitely something to keep an eye on as things develop.
Absolutely. The story's not over yet.
Nope.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
We'll see you next time.